So you're throwing around the idea of moving to Dallas, Texas and wondering if Frisco might be the right spot for you. Well, lucky for you, today we're gonna dive into all about Frisco, the good, the bad, the ugly. Gonna drive around, give you a little bit of look around what Frisco's actually like. And then at the end, we're actually gonna hop into a few different neighborhoods so you can see what your money is gonna get you when you live in Frisco, Texas. So without further ado, let's get into it. What's up everybody, my name is Michael Caraway. I'm a realtor here in the Dallas, Texas Metro, and if this is your first time to the channel, make sure to tap that subscribe button, hit the bell so you're notified every single time we publish a new video to this channel. Listen, I'm grateful to get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you looking to make a move to the Dallas, Texas Metro, and if that sounds like you're looking to move now or maybe a year from now, reach out. Days, nights, weekends, doesn't matter. I'm here to add value to you and help you figure out where you're gonna land in the Dallas, Texas Metro. So, Frisco, what's all the hype about? You know, you hear things on the news, people talking about what the best suburbs are in the area. Frisco always gets brought up. So let's actually dive into why that is. So Frisco is located about 40 minutes north of downtown Dallas, right off the Dallas North Tollway. It's right below 380 on the north side, and on the south side, the Sam Rayburn Tollway is running along there. So really, it's a good location if you need access to those major roadways. You're about 23 miles or about 25 minutes away from DFW Airport. So really, Frisco's positioned in a really awesome place if you need to get to the airport, get to downtown, but also be close to all these different suburbs like Plano, McKinney, and all the other great communities around here. Frisco is absolutely one of the most desired communities in the Dallas Metro. I would say all around, but specifically on the north side as well. And you're constantly seeing Frisco in all of these best places to live, but that comes at a cost. The median home value in Frisco is right now about $639,000, which is about $100,000 more than a lot of the other communities around here like Plano or McKinney. And in fact, if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna hop into a few different communities in the area so you can get an idea of what your money will get you in these different communities. But first, let's go check out one of the most popular spots to hang out in Frisco, which is the Star. Okay, so I'm on my way to the Star, but I'm driving through the Rail District right now, which is the historic downtown of Frisco. Kind of see, I don't know if you can see out the window there, but a lot of cute little buildings, some good coffee shops, restaurants. There's also a cool little place called the Rail Yard, which is kind of it's an outdoor space. You can go hang out with your friends and family, let kids run around and have a few beverages and something to eat. Also right now, about to drive right by Haystack, if you can see out the window, which is one of the best, I guess it's kind of like a fast food burger spots around. There's a few of them around Texas, but this one in particular is cool. This is overall just kind of a cool area to be close to because you can get out and experience some more local vibes, which you don't always get in suburbia. But I'm kind of heading over to the Star now. I'm gonna hop on the Dallas North Tollway, and when we get over to the Star, I will say hi again. Okay, so I'm just outside the Star. I went in there and there's all sorts of leaf blowers and mowers going. You wouldn't have been able to hear me, so had to step a little bit outside, but I'll cut to some footage just so you can get an idea of what the place looks like. But the Star is the 91-acre campus of the Dallas Cowboys headquarters. So you're gonna see tons of Cowboys memorabilia, different shops. You're gonna see a football field that has Cowboys logos all over it. It's a really cool spot. Even though I'm not a Cowboys fan, go Broncos. It's definitely a cool spot to be just because of all the shops and the restaurants and bars. Specifically, Cane Rosa has great pizza. Lombardi's is one of the best Italian spots around town. And you definitely also should check out Ascension, which is a coffee shop that also has some of the best breakfast sandwiches, in my opinion, in all of Dallas, Texas. But that's just my opinion. So as you can tell, this is something that residents of Frisco really love. In fact, a lot of people that live outside of Frisco also come here just for the Star. But what else is it that draws people to Frisco? Well, in my opinion, there's really three different things that I hear all the time. The first is just how new everything is. Frisco was an old cow town. There really wasn't much going on here until you know, the late 90s into the 2000s, and all of a sudden all this new construction happened. You have places like Stonebriar coming in, which is a huge mall in the area. You have the Star, you have PGA area that's coming in, and it's just a ton of different new development, right? So when you go to a place, you're not going to see a lot of rundown places. It's all just really new, which is kind of cool. The second is just, there is a ton of things to do here. The amount of live sports here is pretty unreal. You can go to a minor league baseball game, you can go to a soccer match at Toyota Stadium, you can see basketball. It's awesome how much sports exists here in this little area. You also just have tons of different places to go dine and shop and all that kind of stuff. You have Stonebriar, like I said, you have the Star, you have new PGA development, which is not done yet. It's actually just getting off the ground, but you're gonna have so many new places to go up there, and you're easily accessible to outside communities like Plano or McKinney to get to like Legacy West, the Boardwalk, all really good places to just go hang out with your friends. Frisco also has tons of parks and trails, whether it's for running, walking, biking, hiking, you got it. Like there's so much here. It's over 70 miles of trails if you count everything that's just in Frisco alone. The other thing that people love about Frisco are the schools. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about schools in a little bit when we go over to Frisco Square, but just know that a lot of people think that Frisco schools are some of the best in the state, and a lot of the data backs that up. But it's not all rainbows and sunshines, and every community has their downfalls, and Frisco is no exception. One of the first things that people say about Frisco that's a downfall is the cost of living. Now, all the communities around here are gonna have similar costs except for housing. Housing really is the differentiator. And just as an example, the median home value in Frisco is about $630,000 compared to Plano and McKinney, which is about $530,000. So you are gonna have to pay a little bit more for housing here. The second thing that people bring up as a negative is how small the lots are here. Because a lot of this is new construction communities in Frisco, developers really crammed houses in. You don't get a lot of, half acre to acre lots. There is a lot of those if you get up into higher price points, but for your typical neighborhood, you're not gonna have a very big lot. The other thing that is a negative is that it's not super walkable. Now, like I said, there are a lot of trails, so you can get places, but you're walking a long ways. There's not really that urban feel here in Frisco. There is pockets like, Frisco Square or the Star where, you could rent an apartment and be able to walk to, a bar or whatever, but it's not like what you would get if you were living like in downtown Dallas. And the last negative is the monotony of a suburb. A lot of people view the fact that, we have a lot of new development here. A lot of the things look the same from corner to corner. So people get a little bit bored with the environment around here. I personally like it. I like how everything looks new, and yes, it does look similar as you're going from, street to street, but in my opinion, it's a good trade-off to have for having newer stuff around here. So now we're gonna go over to Frisco Square. I'm gonna show you around that area a little bit more. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the nitty-gritty of living in Frisco. All right, so I'm turning into Frisco Square right now. Frisco Square is not too far away from the rail district. It's about, I'd say like a 2-minute drive. But it's got really cool, if you can see out the windows here, it's just, they've got lights above the street, there's shops and restaurants on each side. Just a really cool area that it's really well done. You're gonna find a lot of restaurants in here. The Pizzeria Testa is one of my favorites in this particular location. There's also Babe's Chicken, which is like a staple. You have to check out Babe's Chicken. It's definitely a good spot to go. And then you have the government building right there too, where the city of Frisco is kind of housed out of. So a lot of cool things around. This is one of the few areas in town where you can actually like live, work, play, and have like a walkable lifestyle. You have tons of apartments, a few condos, and townhomes in the area, and it's just kind of gives you that urban feel in suburbia. Now, it's not overall that big, so you don't get to you're not gonna be able to walk miles without hopping in a car, but it does give you kind of that urban feel here. So definitely check this out if you come visit the area. All right, so I finally got parked, and right now I'm at the Jimmy and Clara Jones Park, which is just outside of Frisco Square. like I said, there's a lot of apartments around here. I'll give you kind of a 360 view starting over there. They're building some apartments over there. You got the park, some nice trees, turning some fall colors, a lot of greenery around, a lot of apartments, townhomes, things like that. This is just a nice, cool area if you want that urban feel, like I said. So, a little bit about this particular area. You know, I mentioned on the way in, there's a lot of restaurants and stuff to check out. One of the coolest things that if you're a family person, you might enjoy is something called Nirvana. I'm not sure if there's places outside of Frisco that have this, but it's a place where you can go in, get drinks, get food, and play video games with your family. So hard to beat that. We're also not too far away from the FC Dallas Stadium. So that's our professional soccer team. And it actually gets super crazy in there. It gets packed, which, you know, growing up in Iowa, soccer wasn't a big thing, but it is a huge thing here in Texas. So if you come to Texas, whether you're visiting or you're actually moving here, you gotta check that out. So now before we jump into more about Frisco, I want you to jump into the comments and let me know what you think about Frisco so far. Is it a place that you could actually move to, and where are you moving from? Let me know. Okay, so the one thing that kind of surprised me about Frisco when my wife and I were relocating here, you know, we lived in Iowa and then lived in Denver and then moved here, but I looked up population in Frisco. The population of Frisco is estimated to be just above 200,000, about 210,000 specifically. And that seems like a lot of people, but it seems like a lot more people when you put it into the context of comparing it to a place like Salt Lake City, Salt Lake City is a pretty major city around the US, and they have a population of 200,000. So that's just kind of crazy to think that, you know, a place like Salt Lake City that has all the infrastructure of a downtown is a very similar size to what's here in Frisco, Texas. And if you zoom out a little bit too, you look at Collin County specifically, which Frisco's partially in, there's over 1 million people here. So there is a ton of people in this area, and it's all suburbs. It's not like you have a downtown area. Now, that being said, there is a lot of infrastructure coming in here, a lot of companies relocating their headquarters to Collin and Denton counties, and there's even estimated that in Frisco, there's gonna be more office space than downtown Dallas someday, and that's pretty crazy to wrap your head around. Okay, so I want to touch again a little bit about schools. So schools are super important to people around here, and Frisco is definitely one of the best school districts around. You know, one of the unique things about Frisco is that they took the approach of having several different high schools instead of just one major high school. For example, like Allen, Texas has decided to have one big high school, so there's literally thousands and thousands of students there, which makes, you know, getting involved in like athletics kind of challenging for, you know, your standard person. But one thing about Frisco is that, you know, you have a low student to teacher ratio. The ratio last time I checked was about 15 students to 1 teacher. So you are getting a little more hands-on approach to teaching, which is something that a lot of people do like. The other thing about the school district is that 80% of the schools here in Frisco rank above the average of the state of Texas. So that's something to love as well. And like I said, a lot of employers are opening up huge locations here, if not moving their entire headquarters here. TIAA is a massive company. They're moving their headquarters here. About 2,000 jobs are going to be moved to Frisco, Texas. The other big announcement was that the PGA of America moved their entire headquarters away from Florida to Frisco, Texas, and are developing this amazing spot with tons of golf courses, huge hotels and resorts, and obviously the headquarters. So that area up north, just south of 380, is going to be booming, and a lot of developments going up in that area. But it's not all just like company headquarters that are moving here. There's also a really strong small business community in Frisco, Texas. You know, you have your traditional networking events, meetups, all kinds of stuff like that. You have your Chamber of Commerce, but even a little bit more special than that, in my opinion, is a group called Finding Frisco, which is really just uniting a bunch of small business owners in a not so salesy, not so traditional way, just to get together, build community, and build friendships. So love that there's such a vibrant small business community here. All right, so we talked a lot about the community of Frisco, but now it's time to actually dump into some neighborhoods and give you an idea of what your money can afford here. So the first neighborhood that we're gonna go check out is the Trails in Frisco, which is one of my favorites. But on the way out, I'm gonna make sure you guys get a better look at the Frisco Square so you can see what that's like. right, so I'm pulling into the trails right now. What's cool about the trails, and we'll dive a little bit more into this specifically, but this is a master plan community that has so much vegetation and trees around. It's green. If you can tell out the window, there's just a lot of greenery, a lot of great landscaping. It's a really beautiful neighborhood. So that's kind of the first impression when you walk into this particular area. Like we'll talk about here in a second, I'm driving to the amenity center, so we can check that out first. But there's a pool, tennis courts, there's trails all around. The other unique thing in particular about this community is that it's positioned in a golf course. So it's a golf course community. So if you are into golf, this could be a great spot for you. All right, so I just made it to the amenity center. As you can see right here, you got a little park, got the tennis court here, and then behind over there is where the pool is. But you know, here in the trails, we are about 10 minutes from Frisco Square or the Rail District. We're just on the west side of Dallas North Tollway. So there is a lot of things happening right here. Location couldn't be better to get to, like the Star. You can get to the Star in about 10 minutes. If you are looking to get outside of Frisco and get over to Legacy West, that's probably going to be about 15 minutes. So you're really in a prime location over here. So homes in this community were built in the late 90s to about 2010 or so. So you're not super old, but you're also not into like a new construction community like what a lot of Frisco is composed of. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you're looking for a newer construction home, this might not be the home for you or the neighborhood for you, but you are getting a lot more mature trees, landscaping, you get all the amenities of the golf course, things like that. So there's definitely pros and cons. So homes have closed anywhere the past 90 days between 480,000 up to about 1.2 million in this neighborhood in particular. So it's a pretty big range. However, if you're looking at the median home value, it lands around $632,000. So if you're in that budget, you're gonna be okay in this neighborhood. The square footage of homes in this neighborhood actually vary quite a bit. You know, anywhere from 1,800 square foot all the way up to 4,800 square foot. So there is a lot of different sized homes in this community as well. All right, so now that you know a little bit more about this community, I'm gonna drive through it a little bit and then we're gonna go check out a few particular homes. All right, so we're about to walk past the first home that I want to show you guys. This home sold for about $500,000. It's a 4-bed, 4-bath, just over 2,600 square foot, and really nice inside. There was a lot of updates that the owner did. This is it right here. It's a beautiful exterior. This street, you can see it's on a cul-de-sac, and you got tons of trees around. It's a really good look. But overall, really great home for $500,000. That's what you can get in this neighborhood. Now, like what I said was, you know, a lot of homes do get a little more expensive in this community when you start getting into the, you know, 3,000 to 4,000 square foot homes or ones that were completely updated. But this one would be a great home for a family that doesn't need a lot of updates, you know, for the first few years. So it's a great spot if you're in that $500,000 range. All right, so hopefully by now you have a good understanding of what you can get in the trails. It's a great community, but we're gonna head over to one of my favorite communities in Frisco, which is Edgestone. And this is a newer construction community. You're gonna have homes that are basically built after 2018 or newer. I'm excited to show you this one. Let's go check it out. All right, so I'm at the amenity center in Edgestone, and like I said, this is one of my favorite communities, and I think one of the best things about it from the get-go is just how intentional they were with the design of this community. Like you can see, like behind me, there's landscaping literally everywhere. I mean, no matter where you look, it was intentionally designed. Everything looks like perfect. It's maintained super well, so I love that about this community. But one of the best thing about this community is just the amenities that they put into it. Everything was really well designed. They've got a ton of parks within the community. They've got 2 pools. They've got a workout center. They've got like a little community area where you can actually have like a barbecue with friends and stuff like that. Just an overall, like, it feels like you could have a lot of fun here in Edgestone. So I love that about this community. Now, Edgestone is just west of the tollway. So just like the trails, we're on the west side of the tollway. However, a little closer to a lot of the things that are going on in Frisco, like the Star. We're literally probably about 5 minutes away from the Star. Still could get to the rail district in about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more. And then it's an easy drive to places like Legacy West if you're looking to get outside of Plano. So like I said, one of the things about this community too that's different than the trails, for example, is that all these homes are built in 2018 or newer. So you're getting a newer construction home, and a lot of them are really well done. The builders they have put into this neighborhood are definitely top of the line. So that's something that you can appreciate when you buy in this neighborhood. Now, they are still building. However, resale homes are starting to pick up in this area. So if you're looking to just move into a house, you can still do that here. But you do still have opportunities to go ahead and build a house in this neighborhood. Home prices that have closed in the past 90 days range from anywhere from $662,000 all the way up to $1.9 million. The median of this neighborhood is about $992,000. So that's realistically where you're gonna be at if you wanna get into this neighborhood. Is anywhere $800,000 and above is realistically the budget you're going to be looking at. But what does that get you? You know, for those homes that have closed, the square footage have ranged anywhere from 2,900 all the way up to 5,500 square foot. So huge range as far as square footage goes. But I'm going to go show you a house that closed recently just so you can get an idea of what you can afford in this neighborhood. All right, so the home I'm about to walk by is a 4-bed, 4-bath house, just under 3,000 square foot, and sold for $800,000 just about 90 days ago. So it's in my opinion, amazing house. This is it right here. Great curb appeal. The inside was super modern, and you know, for 3,000 square foot in Edgestone, $800,000 was a pretty good deal, in my opinion. So maybe by now you're like, oh my gosh, I want to move to Frisco, or maybe you're on the other fence and say, no way, there's no way I can imagine myself here. Well, that's what I'm here for. You know, you give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, tell me 2 to 3 things that you want in your neighborhood, in your community. Tell me what your lifestyle's like, and I'm here to help match you to the right place. So give me a call, reach out, and days, nights, weekends, doesn't matter. I'm here to add value to you and make sure you find the right place to land in Dallas, Texas. Until next time.